If you're a female and you have lost your monthly menstruation cycle during a period of caloric restriction, this video is for you. So it's commonplace that when a female goes into a deep caloric restriction, i.e. for maybe a bikini competition or a figure competition, whatever level of leanness they need to be able to achieve to get on stage, it's commonplace that most people understand you will lose your monthly menstruation cycle for a prolonged period of time. However, I want to bring you guys today an example of something that I think would work really well, and through my own anecdotes and observations have noticed an improvement in a lot of my female clients that I work with here at Metabolic Evolution. So up to this point in time, the majority of coaches will recommend maybe having 1 high carb day per week, possibly 2 high carb days per week, spaced apart evenly throughout the duration of a month, if your coach even recommends high carb days at all. Now, in my opinion, the fastest way to lose your menstruation cycle is to work with a coach who does not recommend high carb days, diet breaks, or refeeds whatsoever. So if you are somebody who's working with a coach and you've never had any of these things, I'd probably turn and run the opposite direction. The main reason for this is because you have to have excess energy availability to be able to optimize follicle stimulating hormone and luteinizing hormone, okay? Now, follicle stimulating hormone basically is the development of the follicle, and then luteinizing hormone controls your estrogen, ovulation, the implantation, and the development of the corpus luteum. So those two things are very important when it comes to you actually having a cycle. Now, like I said, excess energy availability is 100% necessary if we want to be able to optimize your ability to have a menstruation cycle, which is why if you are on a chronic low-calorie diet, you will lose your period faster than somebody who's utilizing some type of calorie cycling, which we're going to talk about here now, which I'm going to refer to as I.C.C. or intermittent calorie cycling. All right? So, what I've experimented with over the last couple of years is utilizing a lot more diet breaks, more refeed days, kind of riding this roller coaster of stress and proactive recovery. Now, what I mean by that is that every single caloric deficit, every single addition of cardio, every single increase in training volume, all of these things are increases in your stressors, okay? Now, on the other side of this, we have proactive recovery. Now, when I'm talking about proactive recovery, I'm talking about things like diet breaks, 48, 72 plus hour refeeds or a diet break. And keep in mind that all a refeed is, you know, it can be a 24-hour refeed, which is refeeding up to maintenance, 48-hour, which is basically refeeding up to maintenance for 48 hours, 72 hours up to maintenance, or a full-on diet break. I would define that as anything between 7 and 14 days. Now, for the sake of this video, we're actually going to be talking about utilizing a full diet break at the beginning of your monthly menstruation cycle, okay? Stick with me. So, what's the method? We're going to be utilizing calorie cycling around monthly menstruation. Why are we going to want to do that? Now, through my implementation of more diet breaks and working with more females and utilizing this stress and proactive recovery scale, we're trying to preserve the menstruation cycle for ideal feminine health for a prolonged period of time. Now, ladies, let me ask you a question. What do you think would be considered healthier if you were to lose your menstruation cycle at 12 weeks out, or if you lost your menstruation cycle 4 weeks out, or maybe you didn't lose it at all? In most cases, if you lose your menstruation cycle at 12 weeks out, you're going to go 3 months without having any form of ovulation because follicle stimulating hormone and luteinizing hormone are down. They are in the dump. They're not coming back at any point in time for probably the next 5 to 6 months. So you tell me, would you rather go without a menstruation cycle for 6 months, or if we can prolong this and we can actually keep your feminine health in order for a longer period of time, is that going to be more optimal? So let me create a picture perfect example for you. If we utilize this method and you don't lose your period, if you lose it at all for maybe maybe you're 4 weeks out and you lose your cycle. Either A, because you're just too damn lean, or B, there's just not enough energy availability to control FSH and LH, but you'll get it back probably within a month because you only didn't have it for a month. So it's likely you'll get it back within a month, and then maybe in the worst case scenario, you might have to go 2-3 months without your cycle. You could then compare that to going 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 months or more with no cycle. What's gonna be better for your ideal feminine health? I think it's gonna be this option. So I'm gonna walk you guys through exactly what I've created here, and you guys can feel free, utilize this by yourselves. Let me know if this makes sense to you down in the comment section. And again, I can pretty much provide you guys any anecdotal evidence that I have in working with my own clientele, as just on the other side of this wall over here is typically where I handle a lot of my client work, and we've utilized this method within some of our clients this year for Metabolic Evolution. And what I'm realizing is that women are preserving their cycles longer than they were utilizing other fat loss methods. So as an example, maybe they worked with a coach who did 1 high carb day per week all the way down into the show, and they lost their cycle at 8 or 9 weeks out. We work with them, we provide them diet breaks specifically around their menstruation cycle, and 4 weeks out and they still have their cycle. So let's go ahead and dive into this. What are we doing? Okay, we are trying to create an ideal fat loss and health scenario around a woman's 24 to 32 day cycle. Now, to provide you guys a little bit more information, FSH, obviously, like I mentioned before, is the development of the follicle. LH controls your estrogen, your ovulation, implantation, development of the corpus luteum, and all of these things need energy to be able to be proactive and to be able to come to fruition when it's time to have your monthly menstruation. Now, typically during normal caloric deficits, now keep in mind that this is a chronic caloric deficit. This is not implementing any like evidence-based methods. And interestingly enough, a lot of coaches are saying that they're evidence-based coaches, but they're not implementing evidence-based methods. I don't understand that. But anyway, let's just go ahead and review this really quick. So when you have a chronic caloric deficit for a prolonged period of time, you are decreasing follicle stimulating hormone, you are decreasing luteinizing hormone due to a lack of energy availability, i.e. calories, and i.e. ATP. Okay, so you just don't have the energy to be able to produce this. Now, the method is basically going to be this. You want to utilize a diet break, okay? 7 full days of a diet break, eating at caloric maintenance calories. Now, whatever your caloric maintenance calories are at the time, you're going to utilize that for an entire week out of the kind of the perceived 28-day cycle, okay? Now, you would have a full diet break every week, every month. Now, within the extra 3 weeks, you can utilize high carbohydrate days as a means to keep the female's muscular tissues full, as obviously anytime we're dieting down, we do not want to lose intramuscular fullness. We would rather keep the tissue integrity so that they can actually train very intensely, they can preserve the muscle during a fat loss phase. So it would look like, you having maybe 1 or 2 high carb days in these weeks, and then having a full-on diet break here to support the stimulation of FSH and LH so that they can preserve their cycle for a prolonged period of time. Ladies, I really appreciate all of you who watch this video. Guys, if you work with female clients, I'd highly recommend you guys at least look into this. And if you guys have any questions for me, go ahead and leave those in the comment section down below. I really appreciate your time. My name is William Grazione, the head coach of Metabolic Evolution, where we're bringing you guys the latest evidence-based nutrition and training methods to help you master your metabolism. I'll see you guys in the next video.